I'm actually very excited about this particular guest because, some of you who've listened to me for a while know that I have a background in film and TV, documentary film in particular, way back in the day. But my next guest does it way better than I ever did. I'm talking to Robin Hamilton of Around Robin Films, or Around Robin Production. I didn't ask you that part.
Oh,
Is it?
sure. Around Robin Production
A
Company.
round robin production. Okay. So yeah, so I've already messed it up
N-
right off the
Not
bat.
even.
So
Not even.
welcome to the show, Robin. I'm happy to have you here.
Thank you so much. I'm thrilled to be here because when I found out about you, I love to cherry pick and find podcasts that are inspiring to me. I felt like I opened up a treasure trove of information with you, Kevin. You've done so much. Your creativity is just non-stop. I started our conversation by saying you're so prolific. So I am looking forward to this conversation.
You don't have to flatter me. You're already on the show. You're in. Uh,
Thanks. I'm just
but
speaking honestly.
well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
As I said, I back in the day, I mean, this is like early 2000s. I worked in documentary television. I did some stuff for PBS. I did some stuff for
Mhm.
History Channel, Discovery Science, things like that. So I know what a grueling, difficult, challenging career
Mhm.
you have. But I'm curious. I want to find out, like, how did you come to this business?
Started off as a reporter, and I was doing a lot of interesting stories. As you know, with the work that you do, you get to meet different people every day. And I'm sure that's what interested you when you were doing documentary early
Yeah.
on. The problem is when you're working in news, unfortunately, there's a cycle where you get to have pockets of interesting moments. And
Yeah.
then I was finding myself sucked into the crime and weather vortex. So
Yeah.
I was often covering the bank robberies and the car accidents and the snowstorms. So those those sad people that you see out in the middle of the snowstorms that are telling you don't go outside. I was one
Right.
of those. And it just wasn't fulfilling for me anymore. And I had a contract. I hopscotched up and down the East Coast. I was in Florida, I was in DC, I was in Boston, and my contract in Boston was up. I wasn't sure what I was going to do. And I ended up freelancing. And I had a colleague who knew someone in DC at the Tribune TV station at the time, and they were doing longer form feature pieces. And so
Mm.
I did some work for them for a while. And while I was working with them, I was finding really interesting stories, historical pieces of news, so to speak, just historical stories around the city that people weren't really covering. And I pitched them to my executive producer at the time, and he just wasn't interested. I just wasn't
Yeah.
getting an opportunity. So finally, a friend of mine said, "Well, why don't you just do it yourself?"
YouTube has democratized that entire thing in a way that back when I was working in film and TV, man, I would have killed to have something like YouTube.
That's exactly it. I mean, my work and the films that I've put up on YouTube or the segments that I've put up on YouTube, it was because I wasn't really getting an opportunity in traditional media. Those
Yeah.
doors just weren't opening. And now you get to create all of these,
Yeah.
all of these pieces of content that you think are worth sharing that people clearly enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. The
Yeah.
this is the age of the independent. The artisan age,
Yes.
as I call it. This is the
Yes.
artisan age.
Yes. And
So,
you basically get to tell the gatekeepers that they can go
yeah.
stuff it.
Yeah. Which
Yeah.
is fun.